Hello, everyone. Buenas tardes. I want to start off by saying that if you know anybody that's currently in line, please let them know that we are going to be offering this presentation tomorrow. It's going to be available online. Our agenda is set for 30 minutes of presentation by the city, and there will be an hour of an opportunity for people from the community, people that are directly impacted with this site, to give comment and give questions. I want to thank Kelly for hosting us tonight, and I want to thank all the prospective electeds that are here in support. There are electeds representing all of the city of Chicago. This is an opportunity for our community to come together during this difficult time. I know there is a lot of frustration in this room. I share in that frustration. I want you all to know that I am listening and validating all of your experiences, starting from a week and a half ago. Because of misinformation shared in the letter from an unknown source, I knew it was important to organize a space for everyone to learn when work started on the lot, what work has been done, and what is yet to come. It would be a win for our community to allow everyone in this room to learn the facts and have all the information exactly from the source, the city. They will present all of their information that they have tonight. I want to reiterate that I am from Brighton Park, and I will continue to advocate for all of its residents. This city is asking a lot on Brighton Park with this plan, and I'm going to ask the city to show up for Brighton Park. This is temporary, but we all stay here, we're from here, and we'll be here. Brighton Park deserves more green space, a center for youth and seniors, and more opportunity to grow and learn. I want to keep the facts straight and have an opportunity to let you all know that I was not aware that the city trucks had been working on the lot after the fact. I did not have aldermanic prerogative in this decision. I was not asked or given a vote. I have no pending list of sites as mentioned in a local news source. I have not and will not be making any money off this site, and promise to never take any donations from anyone profiting off this site. I want to make clear that this lot is different from a Mudson Park. I've gotten a lot of questions about that. That park is owned by the city, and this lot is privately owned. The owner of this decides who they grant access to. This is a chance for everyone to be on the same page and know where we are in the process. I ask that tonight that we are all respectful and courteous of people's views and experiences. We have folks throughout the room. Everyone wave with your papers. Do people have papers? We have people throughout the room to make sure that we help de-escalate so we can all get through this meeting peacefully. Please, no profanity, no outbursts. We all demanded this meeting to happen, and we all deserve to have the information. Please have an open mind and an open heart throughout tonight's meeting. And I want to share that the City of Chicago has community agreements. They agree to be respectful in dialogue, to have one mic, and to be held accountable and follow up with all of us. Thank you.
Okay. Muy buenas noches. Good evening. My name is Beatriz Ponce de Leon. I am the Deputy Mayor for Immigrant, Migrant, and Refugee Rights for the City of Chicago. This is the first time that our city has had this role. Todavía no es, un momentito, por favor. This is the first time that our city has had this role. Yes. Voy a contestar la pregunta. The question is, it looks like there are empty seats, and why haven't we filled them? I know that there are people letting folks in and managing the numbers here. Thank you. Presentation. know, the city of Chicago is currently experiencing a number of asylum seekers and others arriving to Chicago. 1 year ago, in August of 2022, the governor of Texas began to send buses with asylum seekers and other migrants to our city. From that year to today, we have welcomed 445 buses with about 40 or 50 people and several folks every day at our airports, especially at O'Hare. In just from when this administration took over in the middle of May, we have had 345 buses arrive to Chicago. Those buses are being sent here by the state of Texas, and they are not buses that our city is able to control or to manage. But as a welcoming city, Chicago, a sanctuary city for immigrants in a welcoming state, which is the state of Illinois, we are doing what we believe is humane and is our obligation to welcome new neighbors, to provide shelter and basic supports, and to help them connect to the resources that they need to become independent, self-sufficient, and resettle in this area. That is a pattern that has happened in our country and in our city since the beginning. And our city has seen numbers of immigrants come from all over the world. Every time that they've come to Chicago, people have been resistant because it means change, and people have been concerned. But over time, all of those groups, whether they are from Italy or from Greece, from Mexico, from Ecuador, from China, from Ukraine, any country, over time they have become part of the fabric of our city. We have now welcomed almost 19,000 asylum seekers and other migrants in Chicago. They have begun to settle in our neighborhoods and around our suburbs and in other parts of the state. The city has opened 30 shelters over the last year. 24 are currently in operation. Our goal has been to make sure that people are not living on the street, that as they get here, they have a safe and decent place to be, and that we're able to connect them to what they need so that they can become independent and move into the city of Chicago. Right now, there are almost 12,000 people in our shelters, and we have almost 4,000 people waiting for a shelter bed. The majority, over 3,100, are staying in our police district stations. Many of you must be aware that there are people living on the floors of our police district stations, outside of the police district stations. Some of them are under tarps because it's begun to rain, it's cold, and we have begun to see that more and more it is evident it is not a humane or a safe place for people to live. It also has disrupted the services that our police officers can offer to our communities. Our number one priority right now, especially as winter is upon us, is to make sure that those 4,000 people have a place to be. I want to share with you this map that shows where our shelters are. And as you can tell, they're really distributed from north to south across the city. As people arrive in Chicago, they're met at a landing zone by our Office of Emergency Management. We're finding that sometimes people come here with wet shoes, they come with flip-flops, they're wearing shorts, they have a little bag with their belongings, and all they've gotten in the hours that they traveled from the border of Texas and Mexico to Chicago is perhaps one meal. There aren't bathroom facilities on the buses, and sadly, when they get here, what they have been finding lately because of the numbers is that we are taking them on a bus to a police district where they can sleep outside. We wouldn't be able to even have this minimal shelter if it weren't for many, many volunteers and mutual aid organizations, churches, nonprofits that out of their own kindness and generosity have been going to police districts, making sure people have food, they have some warm clothes, they have a place to sleep. Sometimes they give them mats or mattresses. All of this has shown that while there is concern about the number of new arrivals, there is also support, empathy, because we are all part of the immigrant communities and communities that have been here. And as Chicagoans, we are showing what really can be done. From the police stations on this journey map, we try to give everyone a bed in a temporary shelter. And I want to stress that these shelters are temporary. We are not intending, the city of Chicago does not intend to have shelters that are open for years and years. We know that right now we're going through this humanitarian crisis, and we want to provide temporary shelter in as many ways as we can. We've looked at our city-owned facilities, we've looked at places that we can lease or buy, and we've really exhausted and continue to look for as many buildings and brick and mortar spaces as we can. The third part of this journey is something that the state of Illinois has supported. They have put resources into helping people find apartments and also having some support to pay for rent until they are able to work and get on their feet. Unfortunately, over the last 3 to 4 weeks in particular, we've seen a significantly higher number of asylum seekers coming across the border and coming to Chicago. Again, they come from Venezuela, Colombia, but also from Haiti, from Honduras, from Ecuador, from many different countries. And we haven't been able to keep up with the number of safe and decent shelter beds. So what we are seeing right now is people sleeping on the floors of crowded police stations. The middle picture shows people at O'Hare. We have a public space that is used for walking from a shuttle area into the airport, where currently there are over 600 people sleeping on the floor of the airport. And it is no place to be in a shelter with a family. The majority of the people that are arriving are younger families with young children. The last picture shows some of the ways that folks have found some safety outside of police districts, and you can see that they're making do with what they're able to. I wanted to share that because it is important that we remember this is really not just a Chicago issue. This is a national federal responsibility. Our federal government should be coordinating resettlement. Yeah. Okay. We need to find a way. We need to hear your voices at the federal level with our elected officials and the White House so that they are able to coordinate this effort across the country and to fund cities like Chicago that are doing such significant work so that we are able to provide the supports that people need as they resettle here. Okay. And finally, I want to share that, and I will turn this over to my colleagues to talk more about the details of this shelter. But our goal really is to provide temporary shelter space that helps people have a safe place to be, where we will serve them in the ways that they need so that they can move on to their own homes and to resettlement. Today, we want to answer your questions about the base camp tent solution that we're looking at, and to tell you how that process came to be, what the shelter will look like there, how people will be treated, how community will be able to participate if that is part of what our communities want, and also to answer any questions you have about that process. Thank you very much.
Test, test, test. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Cristina Pacioni-Sayas, First Deputy Chief of Staff. I just wanted to highlight the goals that are on the slide here that really indicate what our kind of focus is, how we are centering dignity and respect for everyone who is being sent here via bus or airplane. And as Deputy Mayor Ponce de Leon had indicated, we don't control the buses in terms of how many come at a time, how frequently they come. And now we are receiving individuals via airport or airplanes. As you can see, there's over 600 now that are waiting at O'Hare. San Antonio, Texas serves as a hub for all the border cities. They go to San Antonio and actually use federal dollars to send people to Chicago without any resources following them. We know that the root cause of this issue is the federal government and the fact that they are not living up to their responsibility when it's purely under their jurisdiction. And so our core focus is making sure that people have a safe place to sleep, they have food, they have showers, they have hygiene and supplies, basic clothes, and then connect them to critical support and wraparound services so that they can be on this journey of self-sufficiency, self-determination, and self-actualization. With respect to the project that is taking place here in Brighton Park, what we wanted to make sure that you all had some kind of basic understanding of where we're at in the process and some of the projections in which this particular project will be carried out. And so with respect to a move-in date, that is still to be determined. And the reason why is that the city currently, various departments are making assessments on the space and the land, and my colleague is going to go over what those kinds of assessments are and some of the specs with that. If everything does happen where it's looking good, the land is good, and the infrastructure is able to support our prefabricated structure, it will be families and children that we are welcoming there. And that's the majority of the population that we currently have sleeping on police station floors and in airports. We will start with 500 individuals there, and then we have a projected capacity based on the outline and the design for up to 2,000 individuals, but that'll be phased in over time. So I'm gonna pass it over to my colleague, Deputy Mayor Lori Lipson, who's gonna go over how this process started.
Good evening. My name is Lori Lipson. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Infrastructure. When we're looking at locations, we are looking at a couple of things for the base camps. One of the things we're looking at is space. So this space located on 38th in California is a little more than 10 acres. It is able to sustain the prefabricated structures. Some of the things that you have seen on the site include Department of Streets and Sanitation. You might have seen them clearing some of the trees. You also may have seen Department of Transportation. They did some upgrades to the lights in the alley. They also did upgrades to the light on the street so we can illuminate the site. In addition to that, you may have seen the Water Department. The Water Department is going to assess the water and sewer quality. There's two things I want to add. Whether or not we stay here or not, the service for the water and sewer is an enhancement to the facility and to the neighboring area. One thing that happens when the water department goes out, when you see the trenching that's happening, they take the analytics to the landfill and they will test those. So right now we're doing some environmental testing on the site to determine if it's suitable. After we determine if it's suitable, if there's remediation that we need to do, the city will do that. If there's other measures that may be happening after that, we'll see if the site is still viable for a structure. The structure that you see on your screen is a prefabricated insulated structure. It is in accordance with the American Red Cross standard. One reason we are using base camps is because it's a turnkey solution. That means it comes with all the things that we need for a shelter. That includes bedding, showers, restrooms, dining area, all the things that we need to stand up a shelter. The other thing that we will be still working with our local community-based organizations, we still will have the wraparound services that will be at the location as well. Part of the base camps that we're going to do is make sure that we keep it in standards that Department of Family Support Services has, which includes their shelter operations, their guidelines For those who have attended other shelter meetings, they're going to be the same rules. There's 11 o'clock curfew. We have re-entry screening. There's no drugs, alcohols. We will make sure that we keep communicating with you. If you have questions, you can always go to a New Arrivals Chicago at cityofchicago.org. I will double check that website, that email address.
It's on there.
Also, we're going to make sure we uphold the City of Chicago's welcoming ordinance. We are also, I know some of the concerns had to do with Garter World, our contractor. We're going to make sure that we have a human rights organization come in and do a deep dive as well. As I mentioned, some of the services include the cots, linens, pillows, blankets, laundry bags. They're ADA accessible. There's portable drinking water, and that's what you see out there right now. They have sanitary facilities, waste removal, trash removal. You'll see snow removals throughout the site as well. All the shelters, people are free to move around in shelters. They are able to move and come in, come out. There is a process for them to do so. Again, there's a curfew. We have administrative and janitorial staff, as in our other shelters. It will be manned 24/7. The housekeeping rules, group meetings, town halls, etc. And we will make sure that we post it in all the languages that are applicable. Again, as I mentioned, there is 24/7 unarmed security on site, as in our other shelters, and we will make sure they follow our city guidelines. Garter World also, if you click on the QR code that's listed on the screen, they are looking for staffers. They are hiring. They attended 2 hiring fairs this weekend. So if you would like to inquire about a job opportunity, please click on the QR code. And I will turn it over to my colleague, Garion.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Gary Gatewood. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Community Safety. We'll be working hand in hand with the Chicago Police Department to provide attention to the shelters, where you'll see building checks on every watch, and a logbook of interactivity with on-site security and the Chicago Police Department. As my colleague Lori Lipson mentioned, together with that you'll have on-site security resulting in 24/7 oversight. One big piece of this is we'll be partnering with our office and our team to coordinate resources and support to shelter and community safety around there. You see on the bottom for non-emergencies, you see the 12th District's CAPS number. What we've seen in some of the other committees that we've been able to raise up and lift is issues raised by our community. And I'm sure we'll be able to hear some of those tonight, and we really want to have an opportunity to address some of those. Loitering in large groups, concerns around street organizations, and impacts on small businesses. And we're looking at some of the community safety solutions that we can build up by coordinating with the site captains, the Chicago Police Department, OEMC, and also keeping our auditors informed. We're going to work with the Community Safety Coordination Center to assess concerns around street organizations.
Good evening. My name is Karime Asaf, and I serve as the Chief of the Office of Language and Cultural Education within the Chicago Public Schools. The Chicago's Public Schools mission is to serve children, all children. We are part of a multilingual, multicultural city that welcomes many of us as migrants, and that we now call home. We have for you some slides to give you information about the process for newcomer enrollment. The newcomer enrollment process has 3 different pathways. The first one is a family can walk into a school and request enrollment. Anyone is eligible to do that within our city. And a school clerk would enroll the child. The other way is through our mobile enrollment units, and that is through CPS staff visits the shelters and police stations, the police districts, to support enrollment and identify the best suited school for the children enrolling. The other pathway is through the Welcome Center, which is housed inside Clemente High School, and we offer wraparound services for children. Any student registered as a newcomer referred by DFSS qualifies for our program as students in temporary living situations. The supports they received are immediate school enrollment, access to transportation via CTA's bus cards, waived school fees, and tutoring. Additional instructional resources that we are offering and providing to schools include our Spanish language arts curriculum, which is available to all schools, Spanish student-facing materials through Skyline curriculum, social emotional learning available in Spanish, and professional learning for principals and teachers. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jamel Chambers, and I serve as City Council Liaison for Chicago Public Schools. As part of the city's effort to welcome asylum seekers and newcomers, Chicago Public Schools has been tasked with supporting with student enrollment. And since we've been supporting that effort, some of the feedback that we received from our parents and community members has been the safety of our students, both inside and outside of our school buildings. So I want to talk a bit about some of the safety measures that CPS has put in place to ensure the safety of our students. We're going to start with inside of our school buildings. Every school has assigned security personnel. In addition to that, we do require all of our schools to screen both volunteers and visitors as they are entering our CPS buildings. We also understand that culture and climate does have an effect on student violence and conflict. Thus, the district has created a curriculum that is designed to help promote how we welcome new students and respect to all students' culture. Next, I want to pivot towards our Safe Passage program. So if you notice on your morning commute to work or as you're dropping your babies off to school and picking them up, you might notice someone standing on a corner with a yellow vest, similar to the one displayed here on the screen. Those are our Safe Passage workers, and their primary goal serves to ensure that our students have a safe commute both to and from school. So as we continue to enroll newcomer students into the district, our safety and security team will work simultaneously to assess existing safe passage routes and explore whether or not there is a need to expand those existing routes. The last thing I want to touch on is something that I've stated at many community meetings. I'm going to continue to reiterate this. Chicago Public Schools is a sanctuary district and a welcoming school district. For over a century, we have been welcoming students. For over a century, we have been welcoming students from across the globe. In fact, today, our CPS students speak more than over 150 home languages. And I understand, I empathize with the community, some of your concerns about a fear of the fact that if we enroll newcomer students into the school, that your students will lose educational support and services. But that's not the case, right? I challenge all of you all to look at this as not an or, but rather an and. We are confident that we can successfully enroll newcomer students and families into this district while continuing to provide educational support and services and expanding on those services to all of our students to ensure that every child in every neighborhood has access to high-quality public education that prepares each for success, college, and career, and civic life. And we want to work through that with you all. with the community to ensure that CPS is living up to their commitments. Thank you.
Check, check, check. Everyone, this presentation is now over. We will be taking comments. Do you want me to read out?
Sarah?
Is it on? Can people hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. So we're going to move on to public comment. We have everyone who signed up. We have the stacks right here. We have way more people signed up than we have time, so we're going to be picking them at random. So the sign up was in the sign-in desk. We were calling it out as people came in. So so we could go around and we'll sign a few more people, but again, I'm gonna pick them at random, so it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna be called because we have more people than we have time. You can put it down on a piece of paper and we'll bring it up here.
Good evening. With 6 schools within a 10 minutes walking distance, we have concern about our students, our children, who walk on this street every day. How do we ensure their safety? To Mayor Johnson, decisions that shape our community need our input. To commence construction without a word to us, that is not oversight, it's disrespect. Chicago's winter are brutal. Putting migrants in the tent in such conditions is nothing short of inhumane. There are vacant buildings, vacant hotels. Why don't we put migrants there? Our plea isn't against offering help, but about how to do it the right way. Our community deserves transparency, respect, and thoughtful solutions. Thank you.
All right, we need to move on to the next person. Thank you. We need to move on to the next person.
I'm here to, share with you about this morning, 4 o'clock. So last week we've been very peaceful, the protest on the sidewalk. And today, 4 a.m., suddenly about like 40 policemen came in and actually, forced us to leave. And actually they heard 7 people injured and bleeding this morning, and actually 2 of them have sent to the hospital. So the day before, we got a mother and a child got hurt by the instruction men with trying to fill the oil into the fence. So we are so peaceful. Why people are hurting our Brighton Park residents? So our kids grow up here. My kid grow up here. And also nobody asked us, nobody told us. We have more than few thousand people who signed a signature here who said no. We said no.
Sarah, grab it.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I would say we pay high tax in this area. Our residents live in this park have our right to know what is going on. And we have our right to say no, because we have kids here, we have seniors, we care about our safety. You're not putting a few people here, you're not putting 200 or 300 here. You're putting a few thousand. If they could flip this area over if they want. So, we have a lot of concerns. Why Mayor Johnson doesn't even care about us? And I have a question for Elderwoman Julia. You issued a letter saying that you were not consulted about the shelter. That's no more important, but we now do need you to stand out today and clear your position to us. Are you still speaking for us? Are you still presenting us? We want to know that.
1 minute. That everybody gets 1 minute, okay? All right, we need to have a short public safety announcement, and then I'll call the next names.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Deputy Chief Don Jerome from Area 1. I've been in this area in the 9th District for 11, 12 years now, very familiar with it. The new arrivals have been in the police stations for months, not a place for them to be. It's over my head. I won't comment on my feelings. I know some of your feelings, some are divided. They certainly don't belong on the floor of a police station, that's for sure. I'm certain many have safety concerns with the number of new arrivals that are going to be here. So I did want to say, I know there's safety concerns. I know this district well. We will increase our patrols. We will put additional manpower here. But I will be transparent with you. With more people here, there may be more problems. It is going to be family-oriented, but I can assure you that we will have extra resources here during the rollout of this and for the duration of the period that the new arrivals are housed, if in fact that's what comes to be.
Okay. All right. All right. You raised really great points, and if you want to write down your name, or did you sign up for public comment? Because all right, the next names are Esther. All right. Okay.
I feel that this hearing today is completely insincere and it's just a formality. First of all, Mayor Johnson did not really notify the resident, and the letter issued by the Alderman Julia stated that the mayor did not notify her about the shelter thing either. It clearly shows the mayor's disrespect for everyone in our district. Although this hearing was planned earlier, but extensive construction had begun 2 weeks before. What is the point of having a hearing if you're just gonna do it whatever you want? They don't even have a construction permit to show us that is allowed to get started. All Mayor Johnson has shown us is the least respect to our taxpayer. For residents, you are taking our rights away. This is not right. You cannot make a huge change to our park and expect us to take it.
But I don't think, can you hear me now? Okay. Good evening. I am also an immigrant. I'm going to do my best to summarize. And I believe that we should help others, but we also need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of our own community. I have gone out and I don't see police patrolling. There has been theft. There have been people held at gunpoint, children assassinated. We need to fix our problems at home first.
Good evening, everyone. As a resident living on the street of 38, no one told us about the construction is happening. We see no building permit on the site whatsoever. And I even have proof that that site, it cannot even have human live there because it's a manufactured site. Then why you guys build under there? Did you do your research? Why you build there? Building a tent for people to live there when the site is not even for human? What is their humanity for that? As an immigrant myself, my family invests most of our wealth to move into this community. We demand safety. I don't want to worry about when I'm walking on the sidewalk every day. Who are those people? Do you know them? Can you guarantee our safety? We call the police, but the police don't show up like 30, 40 minutes late. At that time, the person already gone for their crime they do.
I heard all of the comments and regarding the shelter. And yes, no, that's a lot of comments. But as I know, there's no transparency in 60632. And we all, the resident, and we have the right to know about what is going on. And of course, as we find out, okay, either yes or no, we like other woman answer this question. The zoning of the land is M1 to 2. Is that right? So M1 to 2 is for factory. It's not for residential. So before the zoning is changing, okay, we should have another public hearing about the zoning changing.